Alright, today we're going to be talking about BeEF XSS on Kali Linux 2018 2.0. Again, I made videos like this in the past on this channel, but they were on Kali Linux 2017. Not a lot has changed with BeEF, but they still needed updated because a little bit has changed. Not what you use, but just what it looks like when you start it, basically. That's basically it. It can be used with Metasploit, Social Engineering Toolkit, and Ettercat to do some amazing things. It's an extremely versatile program, and it can hack anything with a browser, literally anything. Windows 10, iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. As long as you can get them to go to your web page that's hooked, you can hack them. I'm going to show you how to get a custom hooked web page. There's going to be a ton of information covered in this video, so please use the pause and rewind features of YouTube, and please listen carefully. Questions we commonly get are, how do I do this attack remotely? Well, you need to port forward port 3000 to your Kali Linux box, and for what I'm showing you here, you need to port forward port 80 to your Kali Linux box as well. You do that in your router's admin configuration page. Somewhere in the settings should be where you can set up port forwarding rules. You would set port 3000 to go to your internal IP address, which you find by typing ifconfig, which you've seen I just did. And right there's my internal IP address. Yours will be different, but that's how you find it. To find your public IP address, you can Google what's my IP address or go to what'smyipaddress.com. But now let's move on and start BeEF. So what BeEF's already going to be on your side logo. I already have mine started up. Your terminal will pop up saying this. Right here are your scripts to get your BeEF hooks. Where it says IP address is where you'd place your private IP address, we're going to call it. Some people call it private, but it's really your internal IP address. And just to keep things simple, we'll say public and private IP address. Your public IP address will go there if you want to do it remotely. Your private IP address will go there if you want to do it locally. I'm going to show you something you can tack on to the end of the script, a little bit more JavaScript code to make this script run a little bit better. Okay, so once you do that, your browser will pop up and you'll get an authentication page that looks like this. But before we get to that, I'm going to show you how to make a better page than the demo pages they give you, so you can actually get people and hack them. You're going to go to something like msn.com. Some websites will turn out differently depending on the code, but you simply left click it and hit view page source. Once you left click on the page, right here, view page source, and you will get a page loaded up that looks like this. Now what you want to do is select all the code, so just hit select the small section, left click it, hit select all to make sure you have all the code, and you want to open up LeafPad. And you want to save it as a .html folder and stick it in your Apache server folder, which is located here. Computer var www.html, and then paste the msn.html or Google or whatever site you copied, name it that, and then .html file extension, and put it in your server's HTML folder. You also want to hit service Apache to start your Apache server anytime you want to host anything from your Apache server. To direct people to your Apache server, On the local area network, use your internal IP address, or if you want to do it over the internet, use your public IP address to direct people to your server. You can use link spoofers and stuff like that to mask your IP address, or use something like noip.com, and you won't have to reveal your IP address when using these types of attacks. But that's a little bit more difficult to set up, and I'm trying to show you how to get started here. So we'll just stick to the basics. So that being said, you just go to other locations and then click on the various folders here. You see the names here, and paste it in that folder. So this is all the code for msn.com, and this is what it ends up looking like. You can see that the header's fine, the banner looks good, the site looks good, everything looks good. So this is the pages that I'm gonna be directing the attacking or the devices that I'm going to be attacking in this demo. The only thing is some of the JavaScript videos don't run correctly and stuff like that, but the site looks great, and it's actually a BeEF hooked website. This is the demo page they give you. This is the advanced one. Right here is the link you would use, except your internal IP address would go here if you want to direct people here. But the demo page isn't really good enough to get people to spend any real time on it for you to actually get any real hacking done. So that's why I always show people how to clone a page, or you can code your own page if you know how to code in HTML, and you'll get a better looking page that someone might actually stay on, or you could actually use for social engineering and get some stuff done. If you use this with like EtherCap and stuff, you can make people go to your website using ARP spoofing and stuff of that nature, but we'll be talking about that stuff on a later date. So once you start BeEF up, you'll get to an authentication panel, and you just type in BeEF and BeEF, and then it will let you in. So once that loads up, it'll look like this, and you won't have any hooked browsers. I'm going to have some hooked browsers coming up because I was playing around with it earlier, but as you can see right now, I have a Windows 10 device hooked. I'm going to hook a iPhone here, so let me do that real quick. Okay, so now you can see I have the iPhone hooked. Once you click a device, it will give you lots of information about it. All things you can use to figure out what kind of exploits you need to run. So you can see here this is the Windows 10 device. It tells you if it has cookies, what site it's hooked from, the host name. There's the cookies right there. It shows you the architecture. Is it touchscreen and size screen, all that good stuff. So you can figure out like, you know, what kind of operating system and what kind of exploits you need to run on it. And actually it shows you what kind of browser as well. Sometimes that pops up on the side here with your base information. I'm going to click on the iPhone, And like I said, this can hack anything from Windows XP to Windows 10, Android, any version, iPhone, any version. It just depends on what exploits will work, depending on what version and what OS the device is you're trying to hack. You can deliver Metasploit payloads with BeEF. That's something I've showed in past videos. And BeEF's actually made to be integrated with Metasploit and works very well with Metasploit. I'll actually show you how to do that in another video, because BeEF's a huge program. You can actually even build botnets with it if you use it with like Armitage and do a BeEF strike and add persistence that way. But like I said, it's going to take multiple videos to cover, and there's already a ton of information I'm trying to cover in this video. So once you get a browser hook, the first thing you're going to want to do is get some kind of persistence on that browser. The confirm close tabs is always a good one, because it's not going to do anything. It's not going to set off any alarm bells. All it's going to do is ask them if they want to close the tab when they try to back out from it. You can create a pop-up under, which is going to open up a BeEF link. What it normally does, it's supposed to pop up underneath, but on phones, it redirects them to the BeEF page, so they will know something's going on. But on a computer, it makes a small, I'm not sure if that's the create foreground iframe or the pop under, but one of them makes a small, I think it's the create pop under. It takes you into a small BeEF hook page. The iframe, I think you can put a page in here. Let me check. Oh, this writes all links to web page to spawn 100% iframe. So it's gonna make all the pages go to the BeEF website. And if you want to know about any of the exploits, you can just click on them and it'll give you a description over here where it says description. Like I said, there's a ton of exploits. Once you find out what kind of browser it is, there's browser exploits. Use the camera, and the red and the green is, I believe, noticeability, like how well like, is it going to be a flashy attack, or is it going to be under the radar? So green means low key, red means it's going to be, you know, kind of more aggressive. As you can see here, you have a ton of commands, so I won't be able to cover them all. But like I said, the first thing you want to do is get persistence running. Use the create or use the confirm close tab always, and then you can choose if you want to use any of the others. The social engineering and the phone gaps is the main ones I use. Phone gap is specifically for phone hacking. The geolocation does work. Some of these work all the time. Some of them work some of the times depending on the OS and the device. Like I said, geolocation is normally always a good one. You can do funny things like prompt the user and stuff like that. Persistence. This is actually persistence for iPhone. The oh so unhackable iPhone, they always say. But yeah, insert BeEF hook into phone gap index HTML iPhone only. And right here is where you would insert the URL, upload a file, record audio, list contacts, list files. Okay, now here we have social engineering. Here's where you can deliver payloads. If it's a Windows device, you could deliver a Metasploit payload using like a fake notification bar. What this will do is it drops down a bar onto the page, and it says update needed on the page, and if they run the update, it will run whatever link you put in here. Now you would have to host the malware off of your Apache server. I show you how to do this into my how to bypass two-factor authentication and my BeEF delivered payloads video if you want to check those out to see exactly how to do it. But this explains it dropped what I said. It drops down the notification. You can mount an exe in the BeEF extension for social engineering. It has one for Internet Explorer, Firefox, all that good stuff. Google phishing will make up a Google page. It'll pop up and ask for Google credentials. The petty theft one's a pretty good one that you can use to actually get Facebook credentials. What this will do is bring a pop-up onto the screen, and we'll actually execute this one and see if we can get it to work. I just got the pop-up on the iPhone screen. I'm going to hit test at email.com. and pass and hit login. What it says is you've been timed out of Facebook. Please log back in. Then you log in, and it takes you right back to your page, and you can go on about your business. And right here you can see the results, test at email.com, and I wrote pass, so you can see what I wrote. I've gotten a couple people with that, so that actually does work. It's because it's just a pop-up. It says you've been timed out, and you log in and it goes away. Also, like, it depends on what kind of page you're making too. Like, I made a page that was very, very simple. It's like, it says redirect.html, and it just looks like your browser's loading. And like, as people do that, I would send the pop-ups and the updates and stuff like that as they're sitting on that page waiting for the page to load. And I would say, hey, check out this Facebook post. So when the Facebook pop-up came in, it wasn't too far to believe that, hey, I might have got logged out or I have to log in to view the post, as you have to do that over the internet sometimes. Here's the Metasploit tab. It only has one, the browser autopon, which is actually very powerful because the autopon attack on Metasploit launches a flurry of attacks once a browser or you direct a target to a browser. I'm actually going to do a video just on the autopon attack on Metasploit, so we'll talk about that later. But that's a very powerful one. You have exploits for exploiting different routers and stuff like that, different exploits and servers, but that's pretty much getting started with BeEF, and I showed you guys how to clone a page. It's a huge program, so you definitely want to like get on it and play around with it on your local area network. Direct your cell phone to it or something. Play around with it, get to know it. It's very easy to use because of the GUI. Like I said, make sure you use the rewind and pause button. If you want to do it remotely, you're going to need to port 3000 to your Kali Linux box, internal IP address, and port 80 so you can run your Apache server to your Kali box. And use your public IP address in the BeEF links. Let me show you the BeEF links, how you insert those. I'm sorry. This is the code for the msn.html. Right here is the BeEF link. You can see my internal IP address, then the double dots, port 3000, and then the text type JavaScript is the extra part I told you to tack on to make the script run a little bit better. So right here's the script. Right here's where you put your public IP address if you want to do it remotely, and if you want to do it over the Wi-Fi, you put your internal IP address here. this is why I said you have to port for port 3000, because that's what BeEF runs on. And once it gets on the internet, it runs very well. It works very well over the internet. Like I said, you can build botnets with this thing. The auto-pawn attack's very powerful. You can use it with ettercap and ARP spoofing to direct people to your BeEF pages. You can see that the MSN page looks very good. This is the cloned one, and here's the proof. It's on my loopback address under my BeEF hooked folder. So this is the clone page. So it looks real. People can read news articles. If they click links on it, it's actually going to direct them to the real page. So that's one thing about that. But yeah, that's BeEF getting started. We will do more videos on BeEF in the future. I plan to do an auto-pawn video because that attack is very powerful, especially use it with BeEF or Social Engineering Toolkit. Like I said, you can integrate this with Metasploit and deliver payloads with it. Just go through the commands and check out all the commands and read the descriptions. To deliver your payloads, you're going to use these ones down here, or your fake flash update, and name it like flash.exe. What this will do is take them to a flash update page, and if you name it flash.exe, you know that's not really a stretch to get that downloaded. This takes them to a phishing page for downloads. But yeah, so as always, stay safe and keep hacking.